So I'm going to now set with the powder products. I'm going to start with the powder, my powder palette. This is the Blossom Makeup powder palette. And if you know, I am not light skin, so I'm not looking towards this light side, I'm looking towards this dark side. So now if I look at this powder, I'm going to look at what shade looks closer to what I have put on my face. For the first thing I'm going to do first, I'm going to set my under eye first with the shade of concealer. So this is my shade because this is the closest to what I put on my face. So if you see, like I said, the best way to know your powder, your foundation shade is to swatch it. So see, once you blend it out and you see that it blends well with your skin, you can just take the next shade or this shade, or because I too savvy over white, I can mix the two together. You can also mix the two together too. And when you are blending, when you are applying it, you can make sure you dust your brush so that you don't have too much product on your eye instead. And I'm using the blending brush, the bigger blending brush for this. So make sure you look up. I'm going to be removing my mirror so that I can see it well. So you look up to make sure that you are putting it inside, you are setting it well, and you are making sure that there are no creases while you are working. But let me just say that it's normal to have creases under your eye because the under eye usually has creases. Like a natural human being would have creases, but then you can make sure that while you're applying your makeup, try to eliminate anything that will make your creases very obvious, like packing too much product. So just make sure you're dusting your brush and then you're just tapping that in and blending it out when you're applying it. So you do the same for the other eye. So you can see how it already looks well put together. So you blend it. Then you also take it to where you put the highlighter, the lighter concealer, and you take it down and you blend it out. Fine girl, fine girl, fine girl. So once you've done that, you take your powder blush. So you know that I use the orange shade for my cheek. So I'm going to be using the orange shade here too for my cheek. And I'm just going to be setting it. So everywhere that you put your cream products on, your cream blush on, you are going to use it to set it. Here too. I'm going to be using it to set it. You can see how your face already looks different. You don't need to add all those heavy contouring. You can use a blush for a light and very, very subtle contouring. So for your nose contour, the contouring of the nose is that thing that makes your nose look slimmer. You're going to take this shade that is darker. If this is your shade for powder, you can use this shade, a mixture of this shade. You can use this shade to contour, and and then you now use this shade to blend out the line. What do I mean? So this is my contour shade because this is my color. So once I use this to contour, zoom in please. So I use this to contour. You can see the lines. So you can see that I'm adding definition to my face already by using this to contour. I use this to contour, but then you can see that you can see the contour line. So I'll get this other shade to now blend out the contour. I don't take my contour down to my nose. I take my contour down to the middle of my nose before my tip of my nose. This is where I take it to, and then I blend it out. I use the other lighter shade to blend it out so that it gives a soft contour look. And then I can even go with my blush to also blend the contouring out so that it matches with the other contour I've done on the face. So that is it for my powder products. When I'm done with that, I can use my setting powder, but necessarily now at the beginner you don't really need setting powder at once, because in my opinion using a compact or a pressed powder like this works as well as using a setting powder. But setting powder can also help you to bake your makeup, meaning that you can, I'm using a setting powder now to just set the makeup in place for the other products to come in. So this is the setting powder. The setting powder gives you that white or cream, or depending on what powder you are using. Gives it that. And it helps your makeup that you put there to stay and last. Okay, so this is basically just it. So I'm just setting, I'm not baking. Baking is when you use powder to, when you use the powder there so that it stays for a long time and it has this lasting white effect. So this is just after the setting, and I go in with my setting spray so that everything stills together and everything blends together and melts together. Make sure it touches every part of your face. And yeah, that is it for the base of the makeup.